And welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting episode of the Lost Podcast of Titan, a father and son journey through the sci-fi series that unite our generations. And today, by critical acclaim and demand, because I noticed a noticeable spike, we're doing our second Guilty Pleasures episode. Uh, y'all seem to like that, at least according to metrics. So, we have some more movies we want to talk about. The whole guilty pleasures concept, where it's the movies we like and the movies we love that really, really need
All,
some.
aren't all that great, really.
They're not. Let's be honest. Well, I think they actually. Okay, all right.
They're,
The point is, they're not well known, not well received generally. Critics don't like them. Maybe not many people enjoy it, but
but they do
we love
deliver
it.
a bit of entertainment on a personal basis.
Yes, there's something in these movies that we resonate with, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um. Really, we need to come up with some pre-show banter too. Like, what have you been watching? Oh, what have you been reading? Da, 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 da.
Fran Lebowitz has a new miniseries on Netflix that I'm currently going through.
Oh, Franny?
Yes, and I'm also rewatching the Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy miniseries starring Alec Guinness.
Yes, but you haven't even watched Love, Death, and Robots.
I know. I only have two pair of eyes. I mean, I only have one pair of eyes.
Have you? And you haven't even watched The Boys.
No. I'm still trying to
And
get
you
around.
haven't- And you haven't even watched Black Mirror.
A few episodes, yes. I'm still haven't gotten around to the latest season of The Expanse.
Oh, I haven't either. Actually, I've been waiting to. I don't think my beloved. I don't think she knows that it's actually out because she usually doesn't pay attention to that kind of thing. So I'm kind of been waiting for that moment when we're both curled up trying to find something to watch, and I'll be like, I shall be the hero, and put on the next season of Expanse. But I worry about doing that because she likes to binge all at once, and
She's
I sometimes can't do that.
she's gonna want to
I
go through
sometimes
the whole series right there.
the whole season, and I'm like, I sometimes I can't. Sometimes I need to stop. Like when Stranger Things first came out, that was I think about 11 episodes. She watched it straight,
You.
and this we started I think at about 5 in the afternoon one day, just like kind of as a supper thing, and at about 2 or 3 in the morning, I had to tap out. I was done,
It must be a
and then
coder thing.
yep. But then I woke up, and I kind of wanted to see how it ended, and she was perfectly happy just to cuddle up with me and watch like the last few episodes again. So so there you go.
Now, when I say I'm binging the series, that'll usually turn up to be 2 episodes a day.
Yeah, pretty much. That's unless it's some of those quicker episodes like I was watching Yes Minister, kind of like
Ah,
chewing through those seasons or series, however you want to call it. And I'll sometimes watch 2 or 3 because they're half-hour episodes and they're nice and concise. And sometimes I'll fall down a rabbit hole because they'll make a comment or something, and I'm like, what the fuck is what is a quago or it was some term a quango, yeah, what the fuck is a quango? And it's like I had to look it up, and apparently it was some sort of kind of corrupt, kind of not government, but not government entity. They were basically people paid to do something, and it not wasn't necessarily on the up and up. Sometimes like it was a cushy job if you could get it.
yeah,
You got paid by the government, but not really accountable to the government.
yeah. I love how the British language and local and British television shows occasionally trip us up here in America.
Yeah, like I really like. I've been a fan of the new Spitting Image series, which is
Ah,
like which is really on point, and I'm like, oh, this is great, haha. But and then I try to watch some of the older stuff, and I know some of what they are talking about, But then there's shit like I have no goddamn clue. They were talking about this posh reporter person, I think, who was flushed down a toilet. Uh, and I forget her name, but for an episode she was down in the sewer or something giving reports from the sewer, and I'm like, I guess this was a tabloid thing that was got out of hand, or I don't know. I don't know.
It's the local references.
It's the local references. So I mean, if I was in 1980s, Britain or the United Kingdom, I'd probably be laughing my ass off. But
Yeah.
I just don't. But when they come to Reagan, when they cut away to Reagan and him losing his brain, like that's fucking hilarious. I understood that. I talk like I really remember Reagan. Like I had my small little finger on the pulse of the American politic when I was also watching Thundercats and Transformers. You know. Uh, but we're not here to talk about that shit.
No, we got other shit to talk about.
That's right. We're gonna be talking about guilty pleasures. So we have this list. We're gonna be slowly going through it as we continue with these episodes. I'm not entirely sure how many episodes we might actually get up to. It really all depends upon you. Let us know. Also, like, share, subscribe. Send us an email of what guilty pleasure movies you enjoy, or maybe you want us to talk about or clue us in. Maybe we should take another look at. And you can email us at lostpodcast@titan@gmail.com, or hit us up on Facebook. I have a Twitter. If you Twitter me there, I'll be surprised if I ever eventually log back into it. I'm still trying to figure out how a hashtag works. And to be perfectly honest, with everything going on, I'd rather just be off Twitter. Just no Twitter.
You can use a pseudonym if you're really ashamed of admitting a certain film you're interested in.
Oh no, I'll breach that confidence in a minute.
Oh,
John Smith from Wichita, Kansas. He likes The Last Jedi. Get him, Cletus. Okay, but so in the echo of the last episode of the Guilty Pleasures, Papa went first, so I shall go first. And he does not know my list. I do not know his list. So this is all off the cuff.
I think spontaneity helps.
It does, yeah. So also, this is a bit of a stretch, but I invoke executive privilege as the son. And so this movie is 1977's Ralph Bakshi's Wizards, which I consider a sci-fi film with a very heavy dose of fantasy. And I completely, utterly, devotedly fell in love with this film pretty much when I first saw it. There was something there. It's weirdly animated. It's not a Disney film
No,
in any sense of the form whatsoever.
we're talking Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Ralph Bakshi does not do Disney films.
Oh, didn't he? Okay, help me out. Didn't he try to get into Disney, but was basically rejected? And he said, fuck you. I'm making my own animated movies with blackjacks and hookers, and literally just started making his own movies with blackjack and hookers.
I believe so, but I'm rather
Yeah.
surprised that you selected Wizards because, as far as I can remember, it had a limited release, but it did good business and has developed a considerable following.
Yeah, okay, but considerable following. But I've known people who are just not into it.
Ah,
It's not exactly their cup of tea.
people have problem with some people have problem with cartoons that don't follow the popular conception of them. Porky Pig and Tom and Jerry and stuff like that.
And I think they're also kind of weirded out by the whole fantasy sci-fi thing, which is part of why I got really into it.
Ah,
But also as for anyone who's making movies, if you can get Susan Tyrrell to do your opening narration,
Yes.
uh, that oh my god,
She had
I
the.
didn't even have to. I didn't even have to see a moving animated cell first. I was hooked. Like the first 10 fucking minutes of this film is basically storyboards because I think Mr. Baskey ran out of money, but I think that was it. But it's literally it is the world's cheapest camera zooming or not zooming but panning up from a rock where there's a book just sort of sitting up and open, and it's somehow open in the middle, but it's on the first page. I love that idea. And then Susan Tyrrell's voice comes in, and it's she's I don't want to say the voice of God because that's not quite what I mean. It's like the voice of the mother reading you a story. She is your mother, that or your grandmother. Just the word is truth. It doesn't matter what she's saying. This is a story. Just lie back, relax. She will tell you the truth of what happened, or in this case, what will happen. And it just set the whole damn movie from there. And yeah, and then we go into the very. This is not a fucking kids film. But I never seen a film where the idea of propaganda was actually uh, kind of not really discussed, but it was there. And I understand the Black Wolf dude was doing magic to make the propaganda more powerful, but uh, it made me think that it made me realize at a very young age that like the Nazis were more than just the army itself. There was different layers and different weapons that they brought to employ because at that point in time when I was a kid, the Nazis were Hitler at top doing speeches and shit, and then there's the army. But the speeches to me never really connected as to how important they were basically to their rise to power and their maintaining of it, and how it can be used to bring their own troops to a frenzy and all that shit. Like, and then, shockingly enough, this is probably very apropos of today's time. So, if
Was
you want to
wondering
get,
if you were going to get into there.
yeah, yeah, well, we try and keep the show apolitical, but you know, feel free to take a look at Wizards and let's see.
Arrive at your own conclusion.
Also, when you have Eleanor as a Disney princess
Oh,
now, so
oof.
I'm waiting for her to show up. Because it also kind of obsessed me with the Fox merger. I don't know if you've noticed, but they seem to have basically just taken a great deal of the Fox IPs and just put them on a shelf, not really doing anything with them, just to have them. And I really feel they could do something here. Like they could have, I mean, Disney did Touchstone, which is supposed to be their more adult-orientated division of their studios, and I don't want like a sequel or a prequel to the Wizards.
No.
Or or maybe as a series. Maybe it would work better as like a TV series. Uh, but yeah, I liked it, and it was the first media that I had been exposed to with elves, dwarves, and fairies that were very clearly just giving a middle finger to Tolkien, which I appreciate.
It also inspired the Peonies to do ElfQuest the comic.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
They came out there and they were going, "What? Elves are legal now?" And they decided to move from there.
Yep. And also, shout out to ElfQuest. That's actually a really fantastic comic.
Actually, it is. Yes.
I understand that they had some more recent issues. I can't vouch for that. I haven't read them, but I think the first few volumes, at least, I forget how they actually categorize their story arcs, but I really did enjoy the first few volumes. Yes.
It was very well done.
Mm-hmm. So what do you got for us?
What do I got? Well, first I wanted to add a few items concerning Wizards. I agree with you wholeheartedly about the opening narration. That voice was
Yes.
spot on. It's have you ever seen Zardoz?
Yeah, I've seen Zardoz. Yeah.
The David D. Kaiser, who
The
was the
the
voice of,
penis is evil. Just so you know,
I've heard rumors to that effect.
we're now taking you to level 3.
No,
It's okay.
but David D. Kaiser, who did the voice of the Tabernacle, he's another
Right.
example of someone who had an excellent narration voice.
Mm.
But no, there are some Bakshi films I'm not too enamored with, and there are some Bakshi films I really fall over and play dead for, and Wizards is the latter, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I do respect him enough that I can see the artistic appeal and intent for almost all of his films. But there are some films that I'd be very nervous to have on prominent display in on my shelf. Um, oh, Lord, what
When
was the name of that movie? Hold on, I want to hold on. Ralph Bashki films. I want to make sure this is the right one. Uh, Filmography. Here we go. Da, 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 da. Okay, all right. Let me see if this one actually has a different name. Let's see. Wait. Okay, all right. Uh, okay. This is a Ralph Bakshi film originally produced under the title Harlem Nights. And
uh-oh.
I will leave it at that
Yeah, okay.
with the name. If you want, you can go ahead and Google it. It's it's very controversial, very controversial.
You're not talking about
But
the Eddie Murphy film.
yes, now it has been reappraised, uh, and it's considered one of his masterpieces. But it does have this scene. It's actually live action. In I think it's at the beginning of the film where a preacher is practicing his sermon, and it has one of the most powerful sermons I've ever actually heard on film, period, or even just like ever, where basically it's a guy wanting to love God but kind of pissed off that God doesn't really seem to love him,
Ah,
and you can just relate to that. Uh, it's very powerful. There some very striking and disturbing and on the nose imagery because this was what, the 1970s? Yeah, this is 1975, folks. So like there were things that needed to be said very loudly. Um, but yeah. So, but that's not a guilty pleasure film. I can't really watch that one all the way through. I think I've seen all of it in bits and pieces. You could probably find it just online if you're Googling, uh, or at the very least, some of the relevant scenes, and make your own real opinion. But that's Ralph Bashki, and he's a guy.
yeah,
He also did Cool World. I liked Cool World.
it's
A
interesting.
guilty pleasure. It's not really sci-fi though.
I rather prefer American Pop, which is also not sci-fi, but I thought it was incredible.
American Pop is badass. Just uh,
I mean,
what was I
I
gonna
saw
say?
that during a convention when the convention was things at the convention were rather slow, and so the movie theater showing American Pop was just across the street, And I went to it, and I guess a lot of other convention goers went to it. And there were people dancing and or doing air guitar in the aisles and stuff during the film.
Oh, you're fucking kidding. You remember? Okay, so American Pop also has uh,
Oh, I think I know what's coming.
one of the best covers of Night Moves
Night Move.
ever put on film that I can't find because it's probably in some legal hellhole that can't be released.
A piano cover, and yes,
Yes.
I would walk on broken glass to own a complete copy of that.
Yeah, like a good, clean copy. Let me see. He also did Fire and Ice, which is really good.
Yes.
It's kind of basic. It's obviously pulled wholesale from Conan the Barbarian, but it's good enough to stand on its own.
I think Fire and Ice came off a lot better than his adaptation of Lord of the Rings.
Well, I mean, Fire and Ice was it just had more like when I see his entire works, Fire and Ice had a lot more commercial appeal. Like straight up, the animation was gorgeous, rotoscoped. Probably some of the best rotoscope work he did, because I think that was the last time he ever did it. I don't know if Hollywood was rotoscoped in Cool World, but I don't think she was.
I'd have to go back and look.
I don't think hips like that actually exist in the real world, unfortunately.
We do love you, Kim Basinger. I mean, this is no reflection on you.
I mean, you can love Kim Basinger as much as you want. I preferred Hollywood.
Yeah, I know. Her hips were nearly. I mean, Holly was so desperate to become human. Did anyone tell her that her hips wouldn't be as impressive when she was a human?
I think I'm not alone when when Hollywood became Kim Basinger, and we're like, okay, it's Kim Basinger, yes, but can we get Hollywood back?
Holly back here? Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Oh.
But yeah, so I recommend Fire and Ice. I also recommend Cool World. I recommend pretty much damn near everything. Oh, Ralph Bakshi actually did some TV. Anything I know? Hold on.
Mighty Mouse.
Oh yeah. Okay.
One he got in trouble with a religious right.
Oh wait. I forget who it was. Thing about wizards. All of the little impish demons that are in wizards, right?
Yes.
They were all hand drawn by I think it was an immigrant woman who had basically just arrived and traveled several states to get to his studio and knew just enough English that she said, like, I want draw. I want draw. And, like, Bashley could understand that and basically gave her a couple of tests, and she just, that was all of her. All the demons, that little impish things on the bottom of the screen, animated, those were all her. And during the commentaries that I listened to with Wizards, it turns out she rose up, she got experience, and like she got hired into Pixar or DreamWorks and became an executive there or something like that.
Oh.
Like, it was really fucking impressive, and now I'm upset that I can't remember what exactly her name was, but
He also did the second season of the animated Spider-Man, which I think was, superior to the first season, as well as The Mighty Heroes, Deputy Dog, Heckle and Jekyll, Rocket Robin Hood.
Yep. But there we go. So that was my guilty pleasure. Maybe not as guilty, because so it is. I guess it's a big cult hit.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Okay, I am starting off with a real goodie. This is the only
no.
this is the only direct-to-video film on my list.
Why are you torturing me like this? What have I done to deserve this?
We asked for guilty pleasures, and this is a 1981 science fiction film called Lifepod, which directed by Bruce.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Is this the fucking one where the guy was blind or pretending to be blind?
No,
No?
no.
Hmm. All right. Go ahead.
Okay, it was directed by Mr. Bruce Bryant, who did a few episodes of Cheers and Moonlighting, and that's about it. But it also stars not a whole lot of interesting people. One of the actors, Carl Lumley, was a Red Lectroid in Buckaroo Banzai.
Mm-hmm.
But for my money, the big star there was a character actor named Christopher Carey. He played in the only two-part episode of The Wild Wild West this villain called Tycho, who had an enormous brain, and he also played a mutant in Gene Roddenberry's second attempt at the Genesis 2 storyline, Planet Earth, and that's pretty much his claim to fame. But I always liked his work. He had a distinctive voice and face. But briefly, the story is about the first voyage of a brand new space passenger liner called the Arcturus, and when it's taking the inaugural passengers to the Jupiter states, and about halfway there, a major malfunction happens, disaster is announced, and everyone is directed to abandon ship, head for the life pods, and get away. And this last group of people get in the absolute last life pod and finally break away, leaving only the captain on board. Now, the captain was more or less a prisoner of the Cerebrum, the computer that controls the ship. And then the ship realizes that one of the people on board the last life pod was the big shot billionaire who had designed and authorized the construction of the Arcturus in the first place. And the Cerebrum is angry because it had originally been designed to be the first starship to explore, interstellar space, and instead it got reprogrammed to be just a passenger liner. And it wants revenge, so it starts turning and pursuing the last life pod. So you have the people on the life pod trying to outrace and outwit this enormous passenger liner that's pursuing them. And then you have the Arcturus with the trapped captain at odds with each other as the Arcturus tries to catch up with the life pod. The set design is not really the best in the world. Acting,
Well, it's a 1981 direct to video, right? So
yeah, so you can pretty
that's
much,
understandable.
and it's been shown on very occasionally on some cable outlets, but not a whole lot. And I don't know why I really like it, but I do like Christopher Carey. I should remind people of that. And also, the spaceship design was interesting. Some fairly dramatic soundtrack music at times, and some nice model work.
Oh, wait a minute, hold up. I got a little bit of it pulled up on the YouTubes just to get like an idea of what it is you're talking about, because I was very, very confused.
Yeah, you can find it.
There's apparently a 1993 direct to video or movie channel, whatever, film called Lifepod.
Yeah, that's not it.
It's not it, but that's the one I like.
Oh well,
That
well,
that could be my guilty pleasure, to be honest. But
that was a network release, I believe. ABC Television ran that one.
yeah, but like I'm looking at the set you're talking about. Yeah, it's like it's not bad. I'm also looking at some of the models of the ships and shit. And for like direct to video in the early 80s.
Yeah.
And it sounds interesting, like a computer with ambition.
Yes.
The idea that it was excited or disappointed that it couldn't be this deep space traveler, and is instead just
The
uh,
captain was also hoping to be the captain of the interstellar voyages, and so he was also angered at essentially just being a taxi driver hauling a lot of fat cats around.
hmm
But to give you an idea of the budget that we were working with here, the control center for the Arcturus, they didn't have enough money to show a view from the outside. Most of the time, it was just the captain gazing out a little bitty porthole. And then
uh-huh.
at the end of the movie, very end of the movie, is when they finally open up this enormous forward porthole and you can see the stars outside beckoning them on.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay.
It's not it's by no stretch of the imagination great cinema, but it has a few nice touches that I consider that interest me and keep me going on it.
No, I can see that. And like not all made-for-TV films are dog shit. So, or direct-to-video anyway. So,
I may have that. I may have you put that down in writing and sign your name to it and give it to me so I can put it
I
on.
never. I know. I never signed that. No. Dun, 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 we're gonna be chased by a psycho computer. I mean, obviously, there's a happy end. Oh wait, no. Oh my god. So I was watching. I was going through this on YouTube just to get some like visual ideas of what you were talking about. And apparently they got this directly off of TV because now there's advertisements for for like like the Swiss Company movie, whatever that is. They also have Dark Star, or maybe this was did they put advertisements at the end of films
Uh,
on
for
video
for
cassette
for
back in the day?
oh yes, and for direct to video, I would imagine especially.
Like we got Bruce Lee Exit the Dragon, Enter the Dragon. Apparently it's a Bruce Lee combo pack. What the fuck is this? What the hell is this? Give me a name. What is this movie? Encounter with the Unknown? Uh-huh. This dude's just no. Okay, anyway. So yeah, that was 1993's film Lifepod. Oh wait, no, that was
Uh,
1980's Lifepod. Uh, I could give a brief little talk about like because I think this the 1990s is also a guilty pleasure, which I find amusing. I didn't have it on my list, but it's a more of a thriller, I think. There was sabotage on the ship, and the survivors, heroes, whatever, escape on this life pod, and their systems are damaged or something, and they're not really able to get water for a while. The pilot is trapped in the top of the life pod, which is a
yes.
death trap because of radiation, and that was actually rather disconcerting when I first saw that scene. That was really well done. The idea that oh no, I don't know the correct term. With apologies to listeners who may be offended, uh, they used little people
Yes.
to as maintenance crews for like the whole ships, and I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If you were a heartless bastard of a corporation, uh, and you didn't care, uh, you would use them for that, and then also like for 50 credits a week, they could have their arm amputated and have like a multi-tool put on, and I was like, yes, this is an asshole company, and I could totally see them doing that. Uh, that was a really dark and interesting concept that I like. And the big twist that I was confused at when Papa first brought up LifePod, the big twist that I was confused at was in this film, the saboteur is actually on the LifePod with them. Dun 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 dun. And it becomes a who done it. And the big twist and reveal, he was pretending to be blind, but he's not really. Spoilers. He's not really blind. Dun, dun,
Gasp.
dun.
Well,
I know.
you've ruined it for a lot of people, but
I don't think you watch Lifepod for the twist. I'm sorry. This isn't Primer. You don't. I
It
mean, well,
is.
then again, you could be told the twist of Primer and still be fucking confused.
It's not a Hitchcock
Uh,
style drama. In other words, is what you're saying.
no, it is not. It is not. Um, but yeah, so there's that. So I think it's officially now my turn with a more full and robust entry. And I forgive me, people, if y'all roll your eyes. My next film is 1970s four, Phase Four.
Oh my
I have no
goodness!
idea. I have no idea what drugs the writers and directors were on when they made this film. It's the 1970s. I can make some assumptions. They'd probably be correct. But again, I reiterate, I do not know what drugs these people were on. So, for those who are unaware, just the basic premise and plot. Oh, I should have given the basic premise and plot of Wizards. I forgot to do that. I thought, oh shit. As a brief aside, Wizards world blows up. Humans become mutants. Dwarves and elves uh, come out of hiding. Magic is back, and a spurned wizard fairy decides to use technology to try and take over the world and discovers Goebbels' propaganda film to inspire his orcs and mutants to try and take over the land, inspiring his brother to take up arms with a small band of a warrior elf, a hot elf princess, and a murderous android assassin to save the world. And those motherfuckers, they also killed Fritz. They
They
killed
killed
Fritz.
Fritz. They killed
Those
Fritz.
lying fairy bastards, they killed Fritz. Those horrible, stinking, yellow belly fairies. Take that, take that, take that. But anyway,
Also, just
back.
before I forget, one of the little elves
Yes.
that was hand drawn by the nice lady from Europe was voiced by none other than.
Mark Hamill, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He was assassinated, and that she did not draw the elves. She did not draw the fairies. It was just the demons, just the little impish demons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But at least that's what the story I remember being told. I would have to watch the commentary again to get the full deal. But
But back to Phase 4.
back to Phase Four. Okay. So Phase Four, for those who are unaware, there's an eclipse, which means in movie terms something has to happen. uh, in this case, that means that they sent the producers out to find some various ants. They then took the world's tiniest little crowns and glued them onto their heads in a circle. I kid you fucking not. Uh, and just have a camera pan around them menacingly while a voice says, and they are planning. Also, the queens get their own disco light show. Uh, like, I'm not kidding about that either. And that's the start of the movie. That's where we're going with this shit. And it ends up that there's, I think a town like disappeared or something like that, and they sent scientists or a scientist, whatever, to go figure out what the fuck's going on. And there's troubles with the ants. They don't quite know what's going on. And for whatever reason, I don't know how, but they ended up getting a NASA-sized budget to build a space dome in the middle of the desert near where these ants so they could study them. And then they start fucking with them. And then the ants start fucking with them back. And then it ends with the human and the woman becoming Adam and Eve, and also ant hybrids, because I kid you not, these people were on drugs of some way, shape, form, or another. The cops need to look into this. Let's see. Let me see. Also, I was amused where when they were trying to fight off the ants, they would use insecticide, and they just hooked up insecticide to these water sprinklers, like you would put in the lawn in suburbia, and it starts out blue, and they're like, oh no, they become immune to blue. Well, we have to use yellow, and they go yellow, and they're like, oh my god, the ants are immune to yellow. Well, there's clearly only one solution. we have to release the red insecticide. It's like it's color coded bullshit. Oh my god. And the ants save themselves. Now this is horrific. They like the ants. They save themselves from the insecticide originally by like burrowing into a cow or a person who got trapped out there. Like they go and explore the bodies and shit to see what see the carnage of the ants, and they find a body, and he has his fist clench. They unclip the fence, and there's a series of holes in there that the ants have crawled into and start crawling out. That was horrific. Fuck that shit. But it was so fucking weird. I I don't understand how this movie got any money, or how it got greenlit.
How?
But someone greenlit it. Someone greenlit this shit.
Well,
Someone took a picture. Someone went to school to learn how to run a camera, to zoom in on an ant with a tiny little crown glued to its head. It's still alive, ladies and gentlemen. It's moving around, and I think they pinned its feet to the ground, or glued its feet to the ground, because basically it's just kind of moving its head back and forth, with a little crown on its head. And that's what that person went to school for. That was the end goal. They went to school so they could get a camera to zoom in on this one ant with a crown on its head, wiggling back and forth. That's it.
You call it a guilty pleasure. Something obviously must attract you to that film.
I know it is. It's the absurdity of it, the absolute absurdity of it. Just the eclipse hits, and suddenly some of these ants have crowns, and like there's some blatant kind of misogyny going on as well, because the ruling council is, or I don't think it is, because I think they're all female anyway. But anyway, like the ruling council look like worker ants that they have just put little crowns on in a circle as they're talking to each other, I guess, air quotes. And then you go to the queen, and she's in a discotheque, because the entire ant colony, the scenes that are shot in the ant colony, all the tunnels are smoothed, it's perfect. And then you get into the queen's room. It looks spacious, and there's disco lighting. there's mood music. Like when I'm saying there's mood music, yes, it's like it's like complete 1970s mood music, saxophone, trumpet, wow wow wow, the wah wah. But it's so and the ants erect solar reflectors to basically cook the humans in their little NASA space dome, which I find hilarious, because it was the idea of a kid with a magnifying glass cooking ants. So I saw that subtlety right there, and I was really impressed. But you're familiar with the film, because I think you're the one that introduced me to the film. What do you think of the film?
Well, welcome to Generation Gap 101 here, because I absolutely love and adore this film. The director, Saul Bass, is best known for his work in opening credits. A lot of the better opening credits to Alfred Hitchcock's 50s and 60s films were done by him. A lot of the Otto Preminger films were done by him. He also made a short film adaptation of a Ray Bradbury story, which is known as The Quest. It's incredible. I cannot recommend that enough. And I can see his work here, this surrealism and the idea of these human scientists putting their best technological defenses up against what they would normally consider to be incredible, just anthills. And failing miserably. The ants were able to outthink them because they had, as you had so obviously pointed out, they received advanced intelligence from this supernova, radiation from that.
It was a supernova? I thought it was an eclipse. It's been a while since I actually saw the movie. It doesn't even really matter, because it's glossed over. So
yeah, the photography showing close-ups of the insects and such, that was courtesy of Ken Middleham, who had earlier did a documentary, the Hellstrom Chronicles. It was half documentary, half science fiction film, and he pioneered the ability to photograph insects in extreme close-up, which I think helped.
What he pioneered zooming in?
Being able to show ants moving, show other insects and various small forms of life moving around naturally, without frightening them off and stuff. I believe the Hellstrom Chronicles is also available on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, you might
Yeah.
want to sit back sometime and watch that, and you can see where it came from. But I really enjoyed this film, even though it did end up being a selection for Mystery Science Theater 3000.
For very good reason. I mean, you can't really deny it.
Just the overall execution of this. Did you ever see there was some extra footage shot for the ending of the film? It was edited.
Yeah, I did originally see the ending of the film. I was like, oh, they were on even more drugs. Okay, all right, cool.
Well, or it demonstrated that the ants were taking humans and they were modifying them to perform all kinds of functions and exist in all kinds of environments. And that just creeped the heck out of me. No, but I cannot say enough about this film personally. I like it a lot more than you. Your guilty pleasures aren't really guilty. Well, I don't. I think Phase 4 deserves more of a reputation.
But the problem is, only you and I have ever heard of Phase 4 that, in my circle.
Well, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, granted, I don't know the circles that you really round, but when I talk about films and shit, people have heard of Dune, the 1980s. They've heard of Wizards, or sometimes they've heard of Wizards. But when I try and talk about Phase 4, I get this blank look on their face, and I'm like, okay.
Well, keep in mind that this was during the 1970s. That was the ecological films period. You had The Bug, you had Empire of the Ants, which is absolute garbage, Kingdom of the Spiders, which was absolute garbage, starring William Shatner. All kinds of films of animals and wildlife striking back against the evil humans. So it probably got lost in the shuffle, which is a pity because, once again, the style of the movie just reaches out for me and just holds me. I need to add it to my collection.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that we paid attention to the messages of those films to try to get our environment in order.
Well, we really couldn't defend ourselves against evolution in the form of specific radiation from another star system. So,
see, and I always thought like the ants were the most obvious beneficiaries of the radiation. But what if it also did the same thing to other insects, like bees and hornets and even wasps and spiders?
That might have made for another interesting film. Have the competing species of insects.
Mm-hmm. Like spiders make a deal with the humans or something like that because they'd be outnumbered, and their traps are usually set up in such a way where they have to depend upon the natural, non-intelligent actions of the insect. Flying into a web, they'll see it. They can overwhelm the spider, so the spiders have to make some sort of deal, and maybe the bees and the ants ally up for the numbers, and because the ants recognize that they need the bees to pollinate, but they can also pollinate themselves too. Maybe they make some different. Well, okay, I'm getting way into this, making like.
Yeah, I know. I'm putting that on my back burner, and I'm gonna let that cook for a while, see what happens.
See, this is another set of episodes we should do where we just we spitball movie, like we come up, and we have to pretend it's a pitch meeting.
Yes,
we have to pretend that we're like big shot movie executives, and we have to be convinced to get some money on it, and we had to be like the typical movie executive. Where's the big set piece? Where's the video game? Where's the merchandising? All that shit.
Can you get, like maybe Eleanor from Wizards or the Contessa from Animal Olympics together in one film?
The Contessa. Glare. That is not a sci-fi film, but that is a fantastic film, and you can see it. It is archived, I believe. You just Google Animal Olympics, and you could probably get a full, pristine copy, able to stream anytime, any day, night, that sort of thing. Really great movie.
Yes.
Apparently, it was fucked up for some reason because they set it up for the Special Olympics, and there was something not special, but these Olympics, and there was some issue with the Olympics.
I believe.
And yeah,
was
that the one where Russia was denied?
I believe that was it.
Yeah, and so that just threw everything and into the shithole. They couldn't really market it, so they just released it, and I found it funny. But
I believe that also is
movie.
what sort of ruined the film Golden Girl. Do you remember that one?
No, Golden Girl?
Yeah,
Oh.
that was a live action film.
Oh,
I'm
I'm thinking animated.
No, this.
Okay, movie Golden Girl.
This scientist wants to enter his quote adopted daughter unquote into the Olympics, and she's actually the product of genetic enhancement and such. She's a super athlete. But
A scientist and neo-Nazi doctor named Seraphin has developed a way to create a physically superior human being. He tested out on the adopted daughter Goldine, injected with vitamins and hormones. Test run is going into the races in Moscow. Wait, to subsidize his work, Seraphin sells shares in his daughter's future to a syndicate businessman.
yeah,
That is creepy as fuck. Nope, thank you. Backing out of the movie now.
but that was also released
Lord.
to coincide with the Olympics at that time, and with Russia not being able to participate, there was a lot of kerfuffle. I think people now know better than to try and do special films around Olympic events.
Oh, they'll try it again later. I'm sure. I mean, I really don't understand the Olympics. Period. Like they fight to get the Olympics in their city and to stream rights, but I never seen anyone be like, oh man, I have to watch the Olympics. Oh man, I wish I could go to the Olympics.
They used to be better. I remember
I'll take your word for
the
it.
Montreal Olympics in the late '60s were fantastic. So were the Mexico City and Tokyo Olympics. But then
Well, yeah,
all
but-
all the politics and stuff suddenly started creeping in. You had the assassination of Israeli athletes during the Munich Olympics, and that things started going down from here. Plus, the Olympics are becoming so expensive. Practically every city in the past, I think, 20 or so years that have had the Olympics, it's pretty much gone bankrupt.
yeah, like when they had the Olympics in Brazil and shit. That place, or was it Brazil?
Yes, the Rio de Janeiro Olympics.
Yeah, like if I understand correctly, they used actual slaves to build that fucking stadium, and I'm like, do we have to? This isn't. We wanted to, pretend we were Greeks. We didn't want to bring in the slavery too. Like Jesus Christ.
It's getting harder and harder to sell for cities to sell the idea of Olympics to the citizens in their city. I mean, they end up with a white elephant.
See, I would just get an island somewhere and build the Olympics there and just have it as a touristy place for the 3 years. And then on the 4th year, no tourists. This is where we're going to be having the Olympics.
Yeah.
That way it's no country, and do the same thing with the Winter Olympics. Just find someplace out of the way and just have it there permanently.
It's also been suggested to pick a permanent location Los Angeles for one, or Berlin for the other, who have had Olympics and have managed to get a lot of use out of their Olympic stadiums and such. Go back to the habit of
No, I want it out of a country. Like I want this to be a United Nations, and we are declaring that this island here is sovereign, and it'll have these set of laws that we can all agree on. You know, don't murder, don't steal, all that bullshit.
Animal Olympic Island.
And Animal Olympic Island. That's right. That movie was ahead of its time. God damn it. But yeah. So what is your next guilty pleasure?
Oh boy. Well, this wasn't direct to video. I don't think because they didn't have direct to video back then.
What have I done to harm you? Like, what is this bullshit where you're torturing me with this direct-to-video shit?
No, I'm looking for actual films which I enjoy, but which has really bad reps, practically everyone else. And this is a British film from 1964, The Earth Dies Screaming. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Earth Dies Screaming?
The Earth Dies Screaming.
Is this where it falls into the sun or something?
No, you're thinking of The Day the
A
Earth.
test pilot returns to English and finds almost the entire population dead. Large robots with clear domed heads roam the streets.
Well, not so much people returning to Earth, but have you seen a film from, say, 4 years earlier, Village of the Damned, the original Village of the Damned?
Yeah.
Then you've already seen parts of The Earth Dies Screaming because that film swipes footage from Village of the Damned.
Oh, there you go.
But anyway, these people encounter this village full of dead bodies everywhere and stuff, and they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. What is this? And they start noticing that these large humanoids in these bulky space outfits with clear domed helmets and goggles and stuff are slowly wandering around. They have the ability to kill people with a touch and turn them into zombie slaves who start hunting around for other humans. And
yeah, I'm watching one stare at a girl through the window while she drinks milk.
yes, they like to stare. And it could have been better. Could have taken less of the stolen footage, and a much stronger and much more sensible ending would have been nice. But the imagery of the aliens wandering about the town and attacking, and also the zombie slaves, is what makes this work for me.
I'm looking at one of the zombie slaves now. It's just, oh wait, shooter. That's right. Come on, pow. Come on, pow, 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 pow.
But why I'd have to go back and rewatch it. It's been a while. But why the people who were in that village? It didn't occur to them just to get in a car and go somewhere else very quickly and get out of there. Apparently, that doesn't occur
Or
to them.
call for help.
Yeah, call for help. Well, see, they did have electricity and such, and they did have radios, but I think they were getting no results on calls and stuff because the aliens were attacking other communities.
Oh wait, we have a guy in a car here gassing up, so they're driving off.
Or they try to drive off. They don't get...
Granted, I'm just kind of... Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, Lord. So this guy's being chased by a robot. Well, not chased. The robot is just slowly pacing towards him, and he kind of casually, with a little bit of concern, gets into his car, and then drives off.
Well, it helps if you can move faster than the aliens.
Like, this isn't... Oh, Lord. What, were you high when you watched this? What?
Well, it did inspire Tom Waits to do a song, Earth Dies Screaming, which was rather good. So
yeah, that actually was the first result when I Googled it. Which is how I knew we were in a good spot.
And,
although this gives me another idea for another series of videos we can do where we take movies that are well regarded and well received that we just can't stand.
I can think of one that you'd mentioned.
Oh, which one?
The original King Kong.
I like King Kong, the original King. Oh well, there's the ending of. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't like how the.
Here we
here's a
go.
tangent,
Here we
folks.
go.
I don't like the brilliant idea of we're just going to bring this monkey, this giant ass monkey, to New York, and we're going to roll his ass onto stage. Now, ladies and gentlemen, think about this for a minute. Have you been to New York City? Have you seen any doors large enough to get a giant ass monkey through, let alone on Broadway, get it onto a fucking stage? No, you have not. So that fucking is stupid right there. And what were they going to do? Like, who's the crowd? Oh, Jensen, we need to go see the large monkey. Oh, Jesus, do we have to? Yes, he's going to be chained up. Oh, chained up, you say? Oh, very well. Like, what's the show? What's the show? We're dropping the curtain. We're revealing King Kong. He's strapped. He's like, roar. That's it. That's the show. You don't have dancing girls in front of King Kong, you know, da 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 da. You don't have Ricky Martin going out doing a set of 5 minutes. I heard my co-star here works for bananas. Boom. You know, it's just, what's the show? What's the fucking show? What producer said, you know what, giant ass monkey in chains on a stage? It'll sell like gangbusters. Move over Cats. Move over Phantom of the Opera. Giant monkey. You know.
Oh.
That's it. That's the show.
Plus they charge $25 for admission.
That's right. It's just, because I'm with you up to this point. Like, no, I'm serious. We've heard of this island. What's the island? Skull Island. This sounds concerning. It has a giant monkey on it. This really sounds concerning. We can bring it back. We can bring it back and we can get some money for it, and we'll be rich and famous. And please excuse me for a moment while I replug in my headset. 1 second.
That's how excited he got. This really set him off.
Okay, I'm back. For some reason, my battery was running low. But yeah, so I'm with you up to this moment. We're going to go there. We're going to grab the giant monkey or whatever giant whatever is there and bring it back, and we're going to make lots of money. Like, yes, that makes perfect sense. Up to the point where making money for them is selling tickets on Broadway to see a giant monkey. Like, it is the let's do a freak show, come see the giant man-eating chicken bit from Little Rascals, okay? Like they couldn't go to the government. Like, the government might not have been interested and be like, you know what? Here's $5 million. We'll just take this monkey off your hand and train him to bust up commie tanks or some shit like that. Like, their business sense was completely insane.
I mean, at least they put Gorgo in a circus.
Exactly.
In a giant display area, and or like Jurassic Park, they could have done an early version of that. Send tourists, selected tourists, to go visit the island and see the dinosaurs and the rather upset natives at this point.
Exactly. But yeah, so it's not that King Kong sucks. It's just that I don't fully grasp the ending. I don't believe that was the big plan. But I can also ignore it and pretend that they were just fucking idiots, which is also true. No, I'm thinking more stuff like Interstellar. That movie's just trash. I'm sorry. So go ahead and email me. Let me know why I'm wrong, that the movie is brilliant at lostpodcastoftitan@gmail.com. I'm telling you right now, that movie is dog shit.
There are a lot of modern films that more people are tending to fob off as, oh, this is the most fantastic thing I've ever seen. Do I have to mention Avatar?
Avatar was very pretty. Avatar is a very lovely made-for-TV movie. The movie was shit. It was complete shit. And the idea that they're making 3 or 4 sequels is hilarious. I think they're going to bomb because the only thing people were really into was the whole fucking look of the 3D planet
Yeah.
and the motion capture, which I'll admit was fantastic. But
Av-
my dude, there's a robot coming up right behind you.
Avatar is a nice science fiction film for people who have no experience with science fiction.
Damn. Damn, what are you calling Ridley Scott? Oh, not, it's not Ridley Scott. What are you calling James Cameron out like that for?
Well, because I mean, he did Aliens, which I enjoyed. He did the Terminator. He did the Abyss, but then he took this mishmash of common science fiction tropes and such and built Avatar. I mean, how much did he spend just to develop the alien language? He had some linguistic expert come in and develop an alien language. Baloney.
I have no idea.
I mean, what difference does it make?
Like I'm looking at his movies, and there's only 2 that I would call good, and the rest is middling at best. Well, there's one decent one. So it's like I liked The Dark Knight. I like Prestige. I also like Inception, and there's also Dunkirk. But the rest is just.
I mean, for my money, the
Shit.
Titanic could have sunk a lot sooner.
I'm talking about Christopher Nolan. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were still on James Cameron.
I think I got on a tangent in my head.
Okay.
No, James Cameron also. Well, James Cameron has some very good creds, doesn't he?
Yes.
James Cameron. I mean, he did the Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator, Aliens, The Abyss. I mean, the man made enough money now to where he can privately explore the ocean, get his own submarines built, and stuff like that.
No.
Oh, yes.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
He's doing a True Lives TV show. No.
What's going to be the premise of the show?
It's True Lies. So it's going to be
Oh.
the husband is actually the secret agent, and the wife
Yes.
maybe finds out. I don't know.
I like-
and all of a
you-
sudden
you-
she becomes a secret agent as well.
You
which
haven't
is
seen that
hilarious.
film? Yeah, I love that film. So does your mama.
No, I love True Lies. Yes, True Lies is a great film. It's not a TV show.
Okay, well, you said something about a James Cameron TV show.
Yeah, True Lies.
Based on the
He's making a TV show.
based on the movie.
Yes.
Now, see, I would have made just another later film with the daughter grown up a bit older, and she wants to get in on the family business, and you have her parent.
No, we don't. We don't need that. We don't. No. Nope.
It's like I'm waiting for Tarantino to do the next Kill Bill film where the little girl grows up and wants to become an assassin.
I really would, because it's about that time now, isn't it?
Yes.
It's been about what, 20 years. So.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
And
let's see.
didn't the black assassin lady? She had a young daughter, and so they're both.
Yeah. No, that was supposed to be the point. I thought that was the daughter you were talking about.
No, I'm talking.
Yeah, so,
no, I'm talking about the daughter of the nurse and Bill. No, not the nurse and Bill. The bride and Bill. But then also.
I was about to say, God damn.
Well, he said he
For
loved
one
her.
thing, you're thinking of so it's shit.
No, it's not shit. I thought it was.
So
pretty-
the black assassin was Copperhead, I think,
Yes.
and Copperhead had a daughter,
Yes.
and the daughter saw the bride kill her mother, rather brutally, to be honest. And that was like, I think Tarantino even said he wanted to do a film later on where that daughter grows up to go after the bride, probably ends up killing the bride, but then the bride's daughter goes after her, and it's going to be a cycle of vengeance, which was the whole point of the movie to begin with.
He'd be missing an opportunity if he just let that fall by the wayside.
Well,
In
I
my
mean, it's Tarantino, so it's not exactly like he's
He's not starving, in other words.
Yeah. Wait a minute. That's so weird. Like I'm looking at some of what James Cameron has done, and some of the like he wrote characters for a 1992 Terminator ripoff in South Korea. Like he came up with characters for that film, and it's somehow on his IMDb.
Huh.
It's just it's so fucking weird.
Well, I was thinking maybe we could do another episode sometime in the future about sequels that really need to be made. Not just
You could
these.
probably do that too.
And I'm not.
I should actually be writing this shit down. Hold on, folks. All right. So, movie pitch ideas. Great films that suck, and sequels that need to be made. Sequels that need to be made might be able to be merged in with movie pitch ideas.
And I'm not the kindest person in the world regarding sequels. Frankly, I feel there are too many sequels as it is and remakes. But some films, at least to me, just scream to have sequels or to have a franchise.
That's true. So, help us out for the Earth Dies Screaming. What is the conclusion? Because I'm actually kind of curious how this actually resolves itself.
It resolves itself. The heroes in that small town where they're trapped realize that the aliens are getting their signal from a hidden transmitter. They find out the location of the transmitter, and they drive a truck full of explosives into the transmitter building.
Mm-hmm.
And the aliens fall over. The end.
And this was the only transmitter on the entire planet, and these was the only town that the aliens were trying to invade?
That's the impression I got. I mean, I would have preferred some.
How is it the Earth dying scream? Like, no. It's like this town has a kind of a bad day, is about as far as it goes.
You don't really hear anyone screaming when they're killed. It's just the aliens touch them or zap them and they fall dead. But I guess trying to sell a film called The Earth Dies wouldn't have had as much impact.
Oh, Lord. But those are our guilty pleasures for this episode. Hope you enjoyed. Maybe want to check some of them out. I recommend both Livepods, to be honest. The 1981's direct VHS film looks like it has some good visuals. I haven't actually seen it, but I do recommend the 1990s Lifepod just for a cute little romp. Well, not cute little romp. I mean, yeah.
That's be a great tagline at the top of the poster. Cute little romp.
Oh, Lord. But yeah, so, what are we doing next episode? Hold on. So we're going to go back to Star Trek. But what's our next episode?
Next episode? I had it on
Star Trek Season 2, Episode 2. It is going to be Who Mourns for Adonis.
Oh, okay.
It's the Greek god episode. And then we have, then we have Changeling and Mirror Mirror. Got some good ones.
Yes.
Another I Mud episode coming up.
I'll be looking forward to your commentary for that one.
The Return of the Mustache by the pimp of the Star Trek universe.
That'd make a great alternate title for the episode.
The pimp of the Star Trek universe?
No, The Return of the Mustache.
Oh, The Return of the Mustache.
I can imagine a Starfleet scout vessel or something coming across this planet where there's been major disruption of business or something, and one of the investigators holds up a tricorder saying, "I found a distinctive mustache print here, Captain," and everyone goes, "Oh!"
See, no, like I would have. Okay, so if I, as Mud, if I had my ship, one of the first things I would do is I would have a comical mustache put on the bow of the ship, just so everyone is aware. Doesn't even need to be identified with a transponder. It has the mustache. It has to be Mud's ship.
Oh, Lord.
But we'll go ahead and leave that there, folks, and see y'all again next time.
Y'all behave.